Hey friends, Dustin here with Dusty Outdoors. Welcome back to another adventure. This week we are at a gem of a spot, and it is thanks to a recommendation. So thank you for the recommendation. And this is in the Chippewa National Forest, and we are at a National Forest dispersed campsite. Truck's actually just up that hill and to the left. But I wanted to come down and check out the lake. Just beautiful. I had some crows cackling in the background. Right over in that direction, there was an owl hooting. Already loving this place. I'll have to jot it down on the old save file to come back during the spring or summer. See how it looks. Places always look different between winter and summer. And yeah, that's obvious, right? But it's more than just, yeah, one has snow, one doesn't. The leaves are gone on all the trees, so generally you actually get better views during the winter. It's just cold and the lakes are froze over. Pretty early in the year though, you're not going to catch me out there on the lake right now. I feel that the ice wouldn't be too thick yet. There's the truck. So I'm going to get a fire going because my hands are cold. And it has been a week, guys. I'll tell you about it in a bit here, but I want to get this fire going. There is even some fire over, there's some firewood stacked right there too as well. So that's pretty cool. If anyone's wondering what I use for fire starters, I just go to Tractor Supply and I get these Rutland fire starter squares. They come in a box in sheets. So there's a sheet, and then you can just break off an end, and then that splits again into a square. And as you can see, there's quite a few. It says contains 144 squares. I can't remember what I paid for this off the top of my head though, but I don't know. It's always what I've used, even for my wood stove at home. I just get these at Tractor Supply. All right. Man, it's peaceful out here. I have a good feeling about this place too. Friends, I'm telling you, sometimes when you go out exploring like I do and many others, and you're going to these dispersed campsites, some of them just have an uneasy feeling, and I don't know what it is about it. Generally, I listen to my instinct, and I don't stay in those. I have a couple times and everything turned out fine. But there's actually one site that I've been to twice on the channel up in the UP, and it's just an uneasy feeling when you're there. And it ain't just me, because Lauren went with me on my second video up exploring the UP of Michigan, and we stayed in that same site. She immediately said that this site has bad vibes. All right, we'll try that for a while, friends. I only got 2 bundles of wood because generally they last a while, but this wood is burning real fast, which is good. It's burning good, but some dry wood. I think the temp's around 18 degrees today. Got a little warmer than it was supposed to. It was supposed to be around 14 or 15 for a high today, but last I saw it was 18, so. The hands are cold. So it's been quite the week, friends. I have been up north since Tuesday. It's Thursday. I have stayed at a state park in Wisconsin twice because I unfortunately needed power. Well, I didn't the second night, but the second night I wanted power because it got super cold and I was scared my truck might gel up, so I wanted to have the truck plugged in overnight. Then I had a couple dash lights come on. My ABS light and my traction control light. Generally speaking, when those 2 lights come on at the same time, you have either a wheel speed sensor or wheel bearing that's going bad. So when the lights came on, I didn't know exactly for sure which it was, and I'm 5.5 hours from home. So I'm like, well, everything seems to be driving okay. None of the tires are leaning big time. You know, if it was a wheel bearing, it would, and all that stuff. So my plan was to come out, still continue my week up north, do a video, and then address the lights and wheel speed sensor or wheel bearing when I got home. Well, truck had other plans. So today I was in Grand Rapids, and it's the wheel bearing. The wheel bearing is what was going bad. Luckily, the company I work for has a branch in Grand Rapids, so I went there and used a floor jack, jacked up the front of the truck. Sure enough, yeah, I had loose wheel bearing, so got a wheel bearing at O'Reilly's, installed that, so we're good to go now. No lights on the truck, wheel bearing's good to go. I could have tried to limp it home, but it was already loose, and I didn't want to risk it. 5 hours. I was in a heated shop and was able to fix it right there rather than risk it, potentially have to get a tow off the side of the interstate and all that stuff. So I had originally planned on going to Amnicon Falls State Park and just outside of Superior, Wisconsin. But when I got there on Tuesday night, it was all non-electric sites. And my Blue Eddy was plugged in to the solar panel. It always is. But ever since it got cold out, I discovered that with the Blue Eddy, when it gets down to a certain temperature, it doesn't only stop discharging, like powering things due to cold temp, it also will not charge itself. It has to be above a certain degree, and I don't know what that degree is, for it to take charge and for it to work and power things. So needless to say, everything I had in there was at 0 because it hadn't been charging. So that's why I needed a site with power the first night I was up here. So I traveled from Amnicon Falls State Park about a half an hour due west to Pattison State Park. I'm not sure what all they got going on there for sightseeing, but it was a very nice state park. It was very wooded and private, I would say, even though there was a lot of sites. And I'll show some footage from there as well as I talk about it. But that was just what I needed. I had power, so I was able to plug in the camper and have my power there. And then I was also able to plug in my charger for charging the Blue Eddy, which I had in my cab of my truck for the 5-hour drive up. Therefore, it warmed up and was able to take a charge once I got to where I was going. But anyhow, here's some clips at Pattison. Morning, friends. It is 9:30 in the morning. I've been up a couple hours doing work, but we got in late last night. We're up in northern Wisconsin, currently at a state park called Pattison State Park. It's currently 28 degrees outside and 71 degrees in the camper, but I gotta have a little breakfast. I'm gonna have some lemon poppy seed cake that Lauren made. So last night on my drive up, definitely got into some snow squalls. Was driving through some snow-covered roads, and really the first bad winter weather that I've driven in this year. So had to take it easy. I actually went to another state park first, Amnicon Falls State Park, which is not far from here, basically just due east. But they had no electric sites. Now, normally that's not a problem, but all of my power boxes were dead. So as winter comes, I am discovering obstacles that I need to figure out with the camper and how my setup is. So now all that's warm, and when I leave today, I'll just bring it with me into the cab of the truck. Won't be an issue. It'll be fully charged. The cab will keep it warm on my travels. Bring it back here when I come back, run the heat, which warms this place up quickly. So that's the short-term fix, and really I don't know if there can be any other fix to that. It's just a lithium thing, I think. The other issue I found, it's the first time I'm driving with the truck camper in winter, and the front window of this truck camper has been out since I bought it. It's just a wood piece of plywood screwed up covering that. So that poses a few issues. Little to no insulation, which even if there was a window there, it would be the same thing. Little to no insulation. But also, there's not like caulk or anything behind that. And when I got in last night, the bottom right corner down here, snow had like drifted in just from getting stirred up under the truck, and I'm sure swirling in between the camper and the cab, driving in a snowstorm. Snow had like managed to blow its way in underneath of that, so that needs to be sealed. I think if I take that off and seal it, I'll just replace it with plexiglass, so it's another avenue for light to get in and me to see out. It won't be a very good insulating factor there, and then seal behind it so nothing can get in. I would just put the plexiglass in the window frame, but that window frame, my suspicion is that the previous owner or the previous owner before him lost the keys to this and it was locked, because you can see evidence where the back door was pried on for a little bit, and the window frame on the front of this camper is just annihilated with something like a pry bar. There's no way you could get anything back in the little tracks of the window. That's unfortunate, but so I don't know if whether just to replace it, to seal behind that wood piece, or put plexiglass. Probably have to end up going with a wood piece, because I feel like the plexiglass would just create major condensation, which is right there by my electronics. So anyhow, Still need to come up with a nice little table setup or something. Here we got some homemade butter. We just make the butter in our KitchenAid. Oh, it's hard to spread because it's a little bit chilly, the butter is. But also, this is so soft and crumbly. Oh yeah, friends. Lemon poppy seed. Thank you, Lauren. All right, friends. So here's camp. Again, this is Pattison State Park in Wisconsin. Oh, I'd say we got a couple inches of snow over the night. You can see my tracks coming in, got snowed over. So just packing up now. Got to put my cord away still and then head out. So the original state park I was gonna go to was Amnicon Falls, which there would have been a falls there that we could check out, but I don't know that there's a whole lot to check out at this state park. I just unfortunately needed power last night, so it looks like a very pretty state park though. I'm pretty sure that's the first snowstorm that I've stayed in the camper in, so went perfectly well. I do think my solar panel's probably covered right now, but that's okay. If the sun comes out, it's black, it'll melt off right away. All right, I'm gonna get that cord put away. Those were a few clips from Pattison State Park, and again, that was just outside of Superior as well. They're only a half an hour away from each other. And then during the day, I'm working, chatting with a friend I have up in this area that knows this area very well, and was recommended the coordinates to this site, and wow, what a great one. So thankful for that. But as far as the Blue Eddy issue, for the time being, like I said in that clip, I'm keeping it in the cab warm, so that way when I do get on site, because I have to have the Blue Eddy to power my diesel heater, even if I'm plugged into shore power, I still need the Blue Eddy to power my diesel heater because that's how I have it wired. So I just need to keep it warm. That way I can, when I get to where I'm going, like right now, I can transfer the Blue Eddy back into the camper, get the diesel heater going, thus keeping the Blue Eddy warm and also allowing me to heat the camper with the diesel heater. All things I'm just figuring out, as this is the first winter with the truck camper. The channel before I had the truck camper, on this channel, it was always just a topper. You know, I had that figured out pretty well. I had a good system with the topper. It was just lacking in space. I don't know. Seems like the truck camper just suits me a little better most of the time. But I am, like I said, this is the first winter with the truck camper, so I'm still learning it. This truck camper was used, it was cheap, and there's some flaws with it, like the snow drifting in from the missing front window that's just covered with a piece of plywood that's screwed into the front. All things that I just need to take care of here and there as I have the camper. I mean, it's already came a long ways from when I bought it, so. Okay, now the fire's starting to put out some heat. So I'm gonna sit here and enjoy this fire for a while, and then I'll see y'all in the truck camper. All right, friends, we're in the truck camper. Got the diesel heater going. It's been going for a while. It's been going for about 20 minutes or so. We got 21 degrees outside. I have my outside portion of this thermometer in between the truck camper and the bed rail. It's actually mounted on the inside of the truck bed underneath the bed rail, but it's in between the truck camper and the truck bed side. So it always reads a few degrees higher than what it actually is outside, like out in the air. Just because it's getting a little residual heat from the truck camper going through there. So it says 21, I would guess it's 19 or 20, and 44 degrees in here currently. Gonna get the old burner out here. I'm gonna warm up my beef stroganoff. Yeah, still need to come up with some sort of table that would be helpful. Yeah, that diesel heater's starting to feel good in here now. All right, friends, got that heating up. I'll have to stir that soon. This is my view. Lighting's not great from that view because I got it set to try to be good for you guys when you're there. I need to get some LED lights up in here that I can run off the Blue Eddy. I think I need to put a little bit of butter in there. So what I'll do, some of you guys are probably going to cringe because I'm putting this burner right on my bed, but it don't get hot underneath of it. I just put my knee on something, a rock. That's always feels great. I got this little pan long time ago when I first started the channel. Got it from Walmart. It was super cheap, and it's been a good little size pan. If you had more than one person, it would be too small, but it's just big enough to make some mac and cheese, throw some leftovers in, heat up. And yes, I'm keeping the top down. I probably will not pop the top too often during the winter. I don't need the extra room. I sleep down here. Gotta remember, friends, I'm used to sleeping in a truck topper. So even with the top down, this is like the Taj Mahal. We're starting to get steam off of it. And I feel like with the top down, it's less surface area to try to heat. So it's less area to try to heat. Got a few cheese curds left. I'm gonna munch on those while that warms up. I wasn't able to eat lunch today, so I'm pretty hungry. Was too busy putting that wheel bearing in. I was just very grateful that it happened in a town where I was able to utilize a shop and not be doing that on the side of the road. I wouldn't have been able to do it on the side of the road. Couldn't ask for a better place or time for something bad to happen. This is just my little phone / tablet holder, so I can watch videos on it when I lay in bed. I will say when it's like 14 degrees or 20 degrees outside, the fridge don't use much electricity because it never runs all day. Crank that up here for the last little bit. So again, this is beef stroganoff, leftovers from home. Not really leftovers. She was going to make beef stroganoff, and it's one of my favorites. So Lauren just cooked it early, and so I could bring some with me. So I had some of it last night, and I'm having the rest of it tonight. Good stuff right here, man. Oh, that's good. Let me know in the comments how many of y'all are beef stroganoff fans. There's a couple foods that I literally could eat every day and probably be totally fine with it. And that is grilled cheese dipped in tomato soup, beef stroganoff. And you'd have to throw in pizza into that too, I guess. So if all there was those three things, I'd be fine. Okay, I think I'm good. I can see the bottom. Oh God, it's... All right, friends. Well, I'm just laying here in bed. Currently 21 degrees outside still, 65 in the camper. It's comfortable. 65 is really like my ideal sleeping temperature. I just sleep so good when it's a little bit cooler. But I'm just gonna catch up here on a couple of videos. Watching Unamoto right now, which is basically a guy that used to do a lot of mountain biking, which I'm very much into. Started a new channel, new chapter in his life where he has like an adventure motorcycle, and he's riding around the world on it. So that's been fun to watch, and that's what I'm watching now. But I'm just gonna catch up on a video or two here and then hit the hay, and we'll get up tomorrow and see what we can get into. All right, friends, good night. Deeper than I thought. I have to keep going, I have to keep going. Look at those rocks down there. Oh, there's a motorbike there. Oh, I wonder... Good morning, friends. There, let me turn this light on. Shine it right into my eyes just for y'all. 20 degrees outside, 55 degrees in here. Kept it a little bit cooler in here last night to save battery power. When I was hooked up to shore power the previous 2 nights, I kept it like 70 or 73 degrees in here. But 55 is fine. Have a nice sleeping bag and all that. Let's see how much power we used. Okay, so we've used 1 bar of power. I'll take you off this and show you. Granted, I did have this other power station plugged into it as well. To top it off, I had this power station plugged into it as well, just for added power. So as this one used up its power, it took more power from this one through this cord right here. It's plugged into here. So this one's probably at 0. Yep, so that one's at 0%. This one's at 80. That's pretty good, friends. I probably could have kept her at 70-something degrees and still had power. I do have to fix my diesel heater plug-in. That little 12-volt plug has gone bad on me, so just the slightest touch, like I just bumped it accidentally while I was showing you guys the screen on that, and it shut my diesel heater off. But I'm gonna get ready here and we'll go do some exploring. Guess I can show you what outside looks like right now. Ain't too bright out yet. I need to get some Reflectix for these windows. I think that would also keep a lot of heat in. I can literally feel the cold air like dropping down off of this big window right behind me. Well, friends, it's a overcast, kind of gray day, but it's still beautiful out here. I can hear a crow way in the background cackling. There's that crow that was cackling. Snowed a little last night. We'll walk back down here to the lake. Just check it out. Make sure we're not missing nothing on the lake, you know. I'm not gonna go too much further out, because I don't know how thick the ice is. I'm guessing it's at least 2 inches, which is probably safe, but it's not something I'm willing to gamble on. So we were just down there at the lake. Here's a little trail this way. Toilets. There's a solid 2.5 inches of snow here, friends. There it is. Not a bad view. They need to put these toilets right on kind of just inside the lakeshore. That way when you're having your session on the throne, you can look over that lake. Looks a little cold today. Just walking out through the woods here a little bit. There's a kind of a knoll I'm walking. I kind of want to see over the other side of it. There's a big root system down there, I think. Sometimes you got to be careful with those root systems, because some of them can make perfect little bear dens. And we are definitely up in bear country now. I was going to say that was probably a buck rub, but that's with a knife for sure. So somebody skimmed that up. Not really sure the reason. I do see a house over there. Right over there. So I don't actually know how far this public access goes, so I won't go too much further. I just want to see that root system. No bear den in that. Hard to tell till you get up to them, though. Which begs the question, do you want to go up to them close enough to know? Yeah, I'm not sure why somebody stripped the bark on that. I mean, if they were going to use it for kindling, there's birch trees all over. That's a maple. All right, friends. Well, I'm going to get the truck started and get it warming up. When it's cold out and you start it up, truck goes into high idle and she gets a little loud. Got the window cracked because I'm super paranoid about locking myself out. All right, friends. So this is in Itasca County, Chippewa National Forest. If you go on Google Maps, you can find a lake in the National Forest and basically look around the outside of the lake. You can find these dispersed campsites all over. Sometimes they're a bust, sometimes you get to them and they're not like a dispersed campsite. They're not like an official campsite. You just got to move on to the next. I recommend always having 2, 3, 4 backups in the vicinity of where you want to go. This one I'm saving, I'll be back. That's going to do it for this episode. To the military men and women, past, present, future, thank you for my freedom. Thank you for your service. And as always, we'll catch you on the next adventure. Bye, friends.